Alright, so in the bottom right, playing Sigrid on player
2.
2, yes. Sorry. For a moment I was like, did they swap sides? But you know, they did. Sancles playing Sigrid on player 2. Red Jam's playing Elodie on player 1, so I guess they must have been looking at each other's picks. And I think there is something to be like the optimal like strategy of I want to win this really badly would be I play twins twice in a row, right? But I think
And twins are a pretty safe pick overall if you're confident.
Red Jams is one of those players that likes to be a bit of a showman and be like a good sport and say I'll pick something that isn't just a cheese. Like maybe just wants to show that he can win in a more standard game. So we're seeing Elodie, and Elodie's not a bad character, right? Like, okay.
I'm thinking Elodie is definitely better than Sigrid on this map for sure.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd give you that. Especially,
Simply,
imagine
I
if
think,
like Elodie,
yeah,
like
the idea
steals
would
the
be
rifle.
Oh, if you could groove the rifle, that would be pretty big, but that's quite unlikely. I was thinking more you groove an enemy, and then the enemy goes to hit the rifle.
That's true, like a knight or something.
Yeah, even a dog. Well,
Oh, a dog actually, yeah.
Sancles isn't going for the same opening, but I think this is a bit. I think this is a bit of the opening trap of this map. Is if you go there, you kind of lose a turn with your commander, or you don't heal properly. I guess he might try to offset that with Sigrid's groove, but it's really hard to do that. We'll see if he can pull it off, I guess. And an early mage.
I guess he wants to go for mountain capture and then take out the village with the mage. Oh no, he's already taken out the village, so he's going for the deny money from the opponent strategy rather than trying to capture things faster. But Red Jams now has all these villages on the left hand side. Sancles going to take a little bit longer to get those himself. Or themselves, actually, I should say.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Your commander is one turn late, I guess. I guess if you want the mage, you kind of have to do that because you need the money. But I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I mean, it's just the opening. Oh, and he does build a dog. Oh no.
Oh, the rifle. Better watch out.
Yep. Especially since he's going for, on the HQ side, he's going for the same opening that kind of feeds groove to the enemy commander. Red Jam's actually snagging a village. Ooh. Oh yeah, because Sancles sent his sword to decap first, I guess. And that's why Red Gems can punish it by doing that. This will be quite unfortunate because now Red Gems has a really strong grip on Sancles' HQ side.
There's this really strong force of spears on the left, which I guess Sigrid does okay against. She can kind of brawl against spears pretty well and just eat one when she gets damaged, but it's still less than ideal, I would say. Because she healed from this back village, it's just gonna take her ages to get to the front. So she can't even really threaten to one-shot the villages.
I'm thinking maybe you just move Sigrid without capture. Oh, okay, never mind. Guess he's not willing to skip a village to get Sigrid to the front quicker.
Knocking down, knocking down that village, I don't think was really worth it, because the swords are gonna come forward, pick off a sword with no real retaliation, and then they'll just run back.
Yeah, I mean, Red Gems could just capture the village again, and Sancles would just end up in the same situation as before. Now he can't really do that again because Elodie is nearby.
Yeah, she's gonna be halfway to groove at the end of this turn. So that was slightly different from what I thought. I thought that he wouldn't go for the village captures, he'd just pick off a sword. But yeah, going for double village capture makes more sense. Definitely has a lot of units to punish that as well.
Sancles already has 2 mages on the field, but there's only 1 balloon on the opposing side as air, so I think maybe that's a bit of a misplay on his part.
I guess they're quite good against spears though. But I guess at that point you'd rather just have an archer and a spear as opposed to 2 mages.
I guess he... Oh, going all the way to the left. I guess he want. Yeah, he needs to. He wants to avoid the rifle. I think maybe a mage is so that you can support Sigrid and it basically reaches faster. It's also not got a very... I mean, it's a decent matchup against all the units over there because of its high movement. But Red Gems is looking like he's gonna have a pretty strong defensive position around his own HQ, and he's looking to pressure Sancles' HQ pretty hard.
Take a look at the income.
Sancles does have his rifle at the ready to defend, but Red Gem's definitely in a better position right now.
This isn't bad though, like looking at this. So Red Gems can't really push forward into that village. If he attacks it from the top, the knight crits him. If he attacks it from the left, the mage crits him.
I probably would have gone for from the left, but I tend to kind of have my commander on low HP, so this might not be the right play. Instead, going for the safer option, just standing right in front of the HQ.
Yeah, I guess the thing about Elodie is you want her to be on high health, because the moment she goes on low health, you can't really groove with her safely.
That's true, but right now, Elodie doesn't have groove yet, so trading some money to charge it up might have been worth it.
Yeah, that rifle position is very aggressive.
Yeah, that's like one of the things you do on this map. You either defend with your rifle or you place your rifle in front of the enemy's headquarters, and in both positions the rifle is very strong.
We see Golem come out. Red has there's that really annoying income advantage you can get on the 1200 income maps per player. Where if you're a village ahead and you stay a village ahead, you can build golem sword each turn. I think Sancles has to, like, I would hit the village from the left with the sword and then have Sigrid finish it off. And by the time the golem gets to her, she can just brawl with it to get groove.
Yeah. That's
not going
probably
for that.
a good option, but I guess he wants to conserve his force's HP before attacking.
With the mage backing her up, I actually think Sigrid should have just gone more aggressive, and that denies money from the opponent too.
That's true. Like from the very beginning, Sigrid has been not aggressive enough, I think. If you like Sigrid has a not very good groove, but one of the things she can do with her groove is being aggressive early, which Sancles really isn't doing, so he's not really getting value out of his commander pick, which, I mean, when you pick Sigrid, you're kind of ready for anyways, but
I look at the state of the board right now, and what I'm seeing is Elodie has more groove, is being more aggressive, and isn't taking damage. Whereas Sigrid really should have been more aggressive, been bullying, been hitting units, hitting villages.
oh, and that's, yeah, I guess Sancles wants to defend his headquarters, but this position will have him take a lot of damage next turn.
His rifle can get shot by the enemy rifle.
Ooh, that's also pretty bad.
How much do they do to each other? Quite a lot, I believe. 90 average. It's on flagstone,
Yeah.
so 20%
You
less.
basically cripple it.
Yeah, it's not going to hit back very hard. Even if you throw mage heals on it.
I mean, if Red Jams had done the prepare, like keep holding the crits, I guess, could have one-shot the rifle right there.
I think we're... Oh, and this is so many sword crits about to come down as well. So with very, very cheap units, he's about to do a ton of damage.
Yep. This is like the most optimal swords I've seen in a while. It's like you're done with the cap phase and then you get to crit like that. And then next turn, they'll take on like the counterattack damage, which means you don't lose anything and you do a ton of damage. Although there's not that much units behind them to punish the next turn, but I still think this is really big damage.
Yeah, I mean the big thing here, because the mage is so crippled, you can just use the balloon to block, and there's nothing your opponent can do about it.
Although
So
the
he
knight
could move.
could go around the balloon, but yeah, balloon is going to be a problem. Most likely.
It at least defends the sword from the top, if he chooses to go for it.
And yeah, Red Jam started because Sancles has been passive and hasn't been knocking down villages. Red Jams is allowed to make a golem every turn, which is gonna, like, once these reach the fronts, it's gonna be a nightmare to deal with. Especially since you can't make any of your own without saving up gold beforehand. This is looking to be a very complicated situation for Sancles.
Alright, he's just gonna shoot back. He's gonna lose the rifle. Basically just gonna sacrifice that. And double golem is... If he'd knocked down that village like I was talking about last turn, there would not be another golem on the field.
I think red gems would have done another golem regardless.
Oh, just skip the sword
Because,
build.
yeah, you can only groove one golem, you know.
Yeah, that's true. So 2 change things. And just not hitting things with Sigrid. Like, she could have hit the village. It would have put her in a bit of danger, but...
I mean, Sigrid has not hit a single target since the beginning of the game.
Oh, I guess she wants to line up for the dog crit? Or not, or for the crit on the dog, I should say, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mage Heals comes down. Follow-up gonna be here. You're gonna have to use a second sword to kill that sword, I think.
Yep.
And the rifle just gets to shoot whatever it wants.
Yeah, I was thinking probably you make another knight as Sancles here because the spears aren't like there's 2 spears that aren't here yet, and then there's only 1 other spear. So, like your knights are, you need to get value out of your knights in the few turns before the spears and golems arrive.
Okay, uses the weakened units to finish off the weak sword.
Didn't move his balloon. That balloon could have been used as a blocker since the mage is injured.
Yeah. Could have put it in front of Elodie. And they're just brawling it out. I actually think red gems could overextend in theory here. Like if he goes a bit too aggressive. Because he's gonna, like he lost 2 of the swords. And he didn't kill anything with them. And that always puts you at a risk.
Rifle, but I think if red gems is gonna die, it's gonna be this turn. Because afterwards the golems start being here and Elodie will most likely have groove, and at this point your chances will decrease like with time.
Yeah, and actually the thing I really want to see here is that he kills the enemy rifle with his rifle and then puts up an aggressive front or defensive front on his own rifle to keep it alive. Oh, we're seeing damage come down on Sigrid. Spear doesn't crit, or spear crit doesn't kill because it's flagstone tile.
Yep, flagstone is OP. Oh, Elodie could get the kill on the sword from the mountain. Yeah, I think that's what he's going for. Red Gems is a mountain abuser, confirmed.
Dog comes in. I guess Mage can reach. Sword can reach. Clear actually too.
I guess if you shoot the rifle, you can't really cover it with from the knights. So yeah, it makes sense what he did here.
Yeah, you would have had to have used Elodie to defend along with the balloon.
But yeah, now Elodie has groove. The unit count has been... I mean, I guess Sancles is kind of keeping it, but...
No, with those buys, not really.
Yeah.
He's now 4 units behind at the start of his turn. And being like 1 or 2 at the start of your turn isn't so bad, because you can retaliate. But when you're 4 and like 4 units behind and like your opponent has 2 golems, you have an injured rifle. Okay, these knights could get some work done. Like, there's some knight crits on villages here that could be quite good.
Yeah, but that's like the last turn the knights get to do anything. And you kind of need to use the knights in the fight here, otherwise you're not gonna get anything done. That might be dangerous in front of Elodie Groove.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh, maybe you could like suicide a bunch of units onto Elodie, but I don't think that would work well enough.
There's probably a lethal here if Sigrid doesn't get covered up more. Though the balloon, since the mage is at 95%, I think the balloon could be a coin flip to kill, but he's not gonna use it as a Harpy is a smart buy, but Elodie could just groove it and be done with it, I guess.
Yeah, there's also a lot of flagstone, so the Harpy is pretty limited where it can go.
Oh, puts the rifle back in front of the other rifle.
Right.
Also, I think Red Jam's reloaded, even though he had, never mind, he didn't have the crit.
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work out. Sigrid might just be dead.
Yeah. You can use the spears and the rifle to clear a path, then groove the mage. Or you could no, it's not that complicated. You can just mage heal Elodie and then hit from two sides, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess like dog suicide as well is on the table.
But yeah, I guess Red Gems is thinking about how to go about it, but there's plenty of ways to do this.
Yeah. Actually, if you groove the mage with Elodie, sword crit from the mountain is pretty good.
Oh, I was thinking you groove the mage so that you can mage crit from the mountain. But I mean, there's plenty of ways to go about this, I suppose.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, I guess just like mage heal on Elodie, and then that's pretty much it done. Like you hit with Elodie, or you hit with the dog first, then you hit with Elodie healed from like the right maybe, and then the sword from the mountain or the spear from the mountain. Oh, spear from the mountain would actually be really good.
Yeah, you can set up a crit and like have Elodie go around. But I think there's ways to have like 3 sides to attack on Elodie and do a ton of damage, basically.
Yeah, that's gonna be what, an average roll of about, I want to say like 42, 43 from Elodie when she's at full health. So that'll bring Sigrid down to about 20-ish. And then actually, yeah, like if a dog goes first.
I mean, what could happen is Red jams low rolls on the dog suicide, Elodie hit and pike crit, and then Sigrid gets groove at 1% HP.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna happen.
I mean, Red Jams has, well, he had 35 minutes on the clock. I don't know what the time is now. Okay, he's going for the suicide. So Sigrid has groove 52. Oh yeah, She is so dead. Elodie by herself will get her down to like less than 10%. I don't quite. Oh, that moving the balloon just so you can move. I would have liked to have seen the spear get healed as well, but is it on full health? But no, you can just finish with the sword, and there we go. Red Jams takes game 2. Puts himself into the double victory. Sided the Swiss.
Yep. Good game to both players.
Yeah, I think Red Jam's just kind of showing why he is a former Groove of War champion. He was being way more active with his commander. He built Groove before his opponent when he was on a slower charge. Had good positioning. Was able to kind of keep... He kept the 1300 gold income, and you really don't want to let your opponent keep a 1300 gold income.
Yep.
Yeah, Sancles. Sigrid is low tier. Generally speaking, everybody regards her as low tier, but there was definitely ways he could have been playing that would have gotten a lot more out of Sigrid that game. And I think that's like a fair thing to say.